I think that shit cheap, and I am tired of this shit. Because I've been nice and I've been humble with it, but I am tired of this shit.
What if I told you that one of the WNBA's brightest stars just watched her multi-million-dollar empire crumble in real time live on camera, and that the man who delivered the final blow wasn't a rival player, but ESPN's own Stephen A. Smith? This isn't just a sports debate, it's a full-blown public execution of Angel Reese's reputation, and what you're about to hear has never been revealed before. We're talking leaked sponsorship contracts, furious phone calls, and a smoking gun text message that insiders say could end Reese's career as we know it. Tonight, the Bayou Barbie's glittering empire of brand deals,
want to be the villain, you can't pride yourself in being the villain, and then you lose, and all of a sudden you...
Social media influence, and public adoration isn't just cracking, it's collapsing. And Stephen A. Smith, armed with secret receipts and years of pent-up frustration, is publicly shredding her image on national television. But why now? Why would one of the most powerful voices in sports media go this far, this publicly, this viciously? And how deep does this rabbit hole go? Stay right where you are, because by the end of this video, you'll be questioning everything you thought you knew about Angel Reese, her sponsors, and the so-called golden girl image she built. This is the downfall you never saw coming. Angel Reese's rise to fame wasn't just about basketball, it was a cultural moment. Back in 2023, when LSU stunned Iowa in the NCAA championship, Reese didn't just win a ring. She stamped herself into sports history with a single gesture. Waving her hand in Caitlin Clark's face during the final seconds, she instantly became both a hero and a villain. To some, she was the bold, unapologetic Bayou Barbie who wasn't afraid to talk her talk. To others, she crossed a line, turning a moment of triumph into a spectacle. That Final Four clash put Reese on the map, not only as a player, but as a polarizing figure who would define the next era of women's basketball. Brands rushed in immediately. Reese signed NIL deals worth millions while still in college, becoming one of the most
Expose yourself to the backlash in provoking the
most marketable athletes in the country. Her name was everywhere, from sportswear partnerships to luxury lifestyle endorsements. She had the charisma, the flash, the confidence. Marketers saw her as a superstar in the making, someone who could sell sneakers, energy drinks, and fashion just by showing up. By the time she declared for the WNBA draft, Reese wasn't just another rookie, she was already a brand. But the leap to the WNBA has been anything but smooth. From the moment she joined the Chicago Sky, things started to shift. The professional stage is ruthless. Fans expect consistency, teammates expect leadership, and sponsors expect polish. Reese, however, carried the same brash, confrontational attitude into the league, and the headlines quickly turned sour. Ejections, technical fouls, and heated confrontations with referees became regular talking points. What should have been highlight reels of her performance on the court turned into viral clips of meltdowns and post-game rants. The breaking point came with what fans now call the clipboard slap heard around the WNBA. In the middle of a tight game, Chicago Sky's VP of basketball operations tried to deliver strategy during a timeout. Instead of listening, Reese smacked the clipboard right out of her hands on national television. Cameras caught everything. Within minutes, Twitter and Instagram exploded. Memes, outrage, think pieces. The moment went viral for all the wrong reasons. And instead of damage control, Reese doubled down, firing off profanity-laced tweets that made sponsors wince. Here's why this matters. Image equals money. In the modern WNBA, sponsorships can make a player more than their actual contract. Caitlin Clark's jersey sales, ticket sellouts, and sponsor-friendly personality have already made her the face of the league. Meanwhile, Reese's controversies have turned her endorsements into liabilities. Brands don't want to attach their logos to a star who looks like a ticking time bomb. Marketing insiders have already whispered that companies are pulling back, quietly shelving campaigns that once featured her front and center. This is where Stephen A. Smith enters the picture. Known for his unapologetic takes and larger-than-life personality, Stephen A. isn't just another commentator. When he speaks, people listen: fans, players, executives, and yes, sponsors. And when he turned his attention to Angel Reese, the criticism wasn't casual. It was calculated, scathing, and delivered in front of millions. He accused her of relying on drama, not dominance, to build her brand. He questioned her leadership, her maturity, and most importantly, her value to sponsors. For a player who once represented the next generation of women's basketball, Stephen A.'s words were like a hammer strike. Because here's the reality: Reese's on-court numbers can't hide the off-court chaos. Her team is struggling, attendance is down, and the hype that once carried her is turning into skepticism. Meanwhile, every misstep from Reese is another golden headline for Caitlin Clark, who is quickly being framed as the opposite: composed, consistent, and commercially unstoppable. Angel Reese entered the WNBA as the Bayou Barbie, a larger-than-life star set to dominate the spotlight. But now, after a string of controversies and a $1 million sponsorship collapse, she's no longer being celebrated. She's being questioned. And with Stephen A. Smith throwing gasoline on the fire, the storm surrounding Reese has officially turned into an inferno. The storm hit full force when Stephen A. Smith decided to put Angel Reese directly in his crosshairs. On First Take, in front of millions of viewers, Stephen A. went beyond the usual hot takes. He dissected Reese's entire image. His words were sharp, deliberate, and designed to sting. Angel Reese has built her name on tantrums, not talent, he declared, holding nothing back. You can't call yourself the villain when you crumble every time you lose. Sponsors don't want to attach their money to a circus, and right now, Angel Reese is the ringleader. That moment shifted everything. It wasn't a nameless critic on Twitter or a rival coach making digs after a game. This was the most influential sports commentator in America, essentially warning billion-dollar brands. Stay away from Angel Reese. The endorsement empire she built at LSU, the sneakers, the fashion lines, the lifestyle campaigns was suddenly hanging by a thread. If Stephen A. is saying it out loud, companies are already thinking it behind closed doors, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Just days before Stephen A.'s rant, reports leaked that two of Reese's major endorsement deals were in limbo. One fitness brand had quietly delayed a campaign launch. Another apparel company, once planning a Reese-led summer tour, pulled back completely. Insiders whispered that the reasoning was simple. Her image is toxic right now. We can't risk it. That phrase, "we can't risk it," is a death sentence for any athlete hoping to cash in on sponsorship money. But here's the twist. While Reese was losing ground, her rival Caitlin Clark was surging. The exact same week that Reese's sponsorship doubts hit the headlines, Clark signed a new national deal with a beverage company, making her the face of a multi-million-dollar ad campaign. The contrast couldn't have been sharper. One star was collapsing under the weight of controversy, while the other was being lifted higher with every game. Stephen A. hammered that point home. He pulled out numbers, receipts, and the cold, brutal truth. Clark's games were pulling over 1 million viewers on average. Reese's games, even when hyped by the media, couldn't break half that. Clark's jersey sales were breaking records, while Reese's were stalling. And then came the line that echoed across social media: Caitlin Clark is the heartbeat of the league. Angel Reese is becoming its biggest liability. That wasn't just criticism, it was branding. Stephen A. reframed the narrative in real time. In his story, Reese wasn't a star, struggling to find her footing. She was a ticking time bomb dragging the WNBA down with her. And when a voice as powerful as his defines you that way, it sticks. The major conflict is clear. Angel Reese is fighting to keep her sponsorships alive, but the industry, the fans, and now the media's loudest voice are all turning against her. And the first shocking twist: her downfall isn't happening in private boardrooms, it's playing out in public, with every word, every headline, and every lost deal adding fuel to the fire. If Stephen A.'s rant was a spark, what happened next was a wildfire. Within hours of his segment airing, clips of him roasting Angel Reese flooded social media. Twitter timelines were dominated by the soundbite: "She built her name on tantrums, not talent." Instagram Reels looped the clip with captions like "Stephen A. ends Angel Reese's career in 30 seconds. TikTok edits went viral, splicing Reese's ejections with Stephen A.'s harshest lines. The narrative had shifted instantly. Angel Reese wasn't just having a bad season. She was officially the league's poster child for wasted potential. Behind the scenes, the damage was even worse. Marketing insiders began leaking emails that revealed just how close Reese's $1 million sponsorship portfolio was to collapse. One sports apparel company, which had previously featured her in glossy commercials, reportedly instructed its executives to pause all campaigns until further notice. A financial services brand quietly removed Reese's image from its social media posts, scrubbing any mention of her from active promotions. For an athlete whose off-court earnings once rivaled her on-court salary, this was catastrophic. But here's the shocking reveal. Insiders claim that Reese's own team, the Chicago Sky, are starting to feel the ripple effects of her brand crisis. Ticket sales for home games have dipped, and several local sponsors who once partnered with the Sky are allegedly reconsidering their involvement. One leaked conversation even suggested that team executives are worried Reese's reputation is dragging down the franchise's marketability. Imagine that, a rookie player becoming a financial liability to her entire organization. And while Reese's brand was being shredded, Caitlin Clark's empire only grew stronger. ESPN released new ratings showing Clark's games averaging over 1 million viewers, while Chicago Sky broadcasts barely pulled a fraction of that. Brands, sensing the momentum, started lining up for Clark. She wasn't just selling jerseys, she was selling out arenas, lifting TV ratings, and transforming casual viewers into die-hard fans. In the eyes of sponsors, it was night and day. One athlete was controversy on repeat. The other was marketing gold. Stephen A. himself doubled down. The day after his initial rant, he went back on television and didn't soften his words. Instead, he raised the stakes. "Do you really want to attach your company's logo to chaos?" he asked bluntly. "Because right now, Angel Reese is chaos." That quote became a headline, repeated on blogs, sports sites, and across every platform. And once a phrase like that sticks, it becomes part of the public narrative. The escalation didn't stop there. Former players started chiming in, hinting that Reese's behavior wasn't just a sponsor's nightmare but a locker room problem too. Anonymous sources suggested that veterans on the Sky were frustrated with her constant outbursts and refusal to take accountability. A rumor even surfaced that coaches had considered benching her longer than usual to send a message. Whether true or not, the gossip piled onto the chaos, painting a picture of a player spiraling out of control both on and off the court. The shocking reveal, however, came in the form of money. A leaked report claimed Reese may have already lost close to $2 million in potential endorsements since the start of the season. Deals that were once hers for the taking had evaporated, either delayed indefinitely or reassigned to other players. And if that figure is even close to accurate, it would mark one of the fastest sponsorship collapses in modern sports history. For Angel Reese, the game has changed. She entered the league with swagger, style, and millions in backing. But now, she's not fighting defenders on the court, she's fighting the weight of public opinion, corporate distrust, and the harshest critic in sports media breathing down her neck. The more she pushes back, the worse the headlines get. And the question everyone is asking, can the Bayou Barbie survive this storm? Or has Stephen A. Smith just set fire to the empire she worked so hard to build? The fallout from Stephen A. Smith's takedown didn't just stay on ESPN, it exploded across the sports world. Fans, players, and sponsors all had something to say. And the reactions revealed just how divided people are when it comes to Angel Reese. On Twitter, the split was brutal. Supporters defended her with fiery posts like, "Angel is being targeted because she's unapologetically herself. Let her cook." Others weren't so forgiving. One viral tweet read, "Stephen A. just said what we've all been thinking. Reese is more drama than dominance." That tweet alone racked up over 100,000 likes, showing just how much frustration was bubbling among fans. Instagram comment sections told the same story, half cheering Reese's passion, half demanding she grow up before she loses everything. Sponsors also reacted, though far more quietly. Industry insiders leaked that multiple companies had emergency meetings in the days following Stephen A.'s rant. One executive reportedly said, "If Stephen A. is calling her a liability, then we have to think twice. He's not just an opinion, he's influence." That kind of corporate language is code for, "We're pulling back." And it painted a grim picture of Reese's financial future. Even WNBA players began to weigh in. While few mentioned Reese by name, their cryptic posts were telling. One veteran tweeted, "Leadership is about more than points on the board." Another wrote, "Sponsors want consistency. You can't blame them for backing winners." Though subtle, these comments fueled speculation that the locker room itself was growing tired of the distractions. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's camp was thriving. Social media was flooded with comparisons, side-by-side charts of Reese's declining sponsor list next to Clark's expanding portfolio. Clips of Clark's sold-out games were spliced with Reese's controversies, reinforcing the idea that one star was the league's savior while the other was dragging it down. Whether fair or not, perception became reality. The industry reaction wasn't limited to sponsors. Broadcasters and media outlets began to reshape their coverage too. Reese, once the centerpiece of flashy promos, found her face missing from national advertising campaigns. Instead, Clark and other rising stars dominated the spotlight. TV analysts echoed Stephen A.'s sentiments, framing Reese as a cautionary tale of wasted potential. One headline summed it up perfectly, "From Bayou Barbie to PR nightmare, the Angel Reese collapse." But perhaps the most telling reaction came from the Chicago Sky fanbase itself. Attendance numbers dipped, and message boards filled with frustration. Season ticket holders debated whether the team had made a mistake building around a player who seemed more focused on clapping back on Twitter than leading her squad to victories. Some loyal fans begged her to tune out the noise and refocus. Others bluntly called for a trade, claiming Reese's drama wasn't worth the chaos. Public and industry reactions have made one thing clear: Angel Reese is standing on a knife's edge. Every word she speaks, every tweet she posts, every look she gives is now magnified under a microscope. Stephen A's rant didn't just spark conversation, it created a consensus that her career is at a dangerous crossroads. For sponsors, fans, and even her own teammates, patience is running thin. Just when it seemed like Angel Reese's reputation couldn't take another hit, the most shocking twist yet surfaced. A leaked report from a Chicago-based sports business outlet claimed that the Sky's front office had quietly begun exploring trade scenarios involving Reese. According to the leak, at least 2 franchises had been contacted about her availability, not because of performance issues, but because of image toxicity tied to sponsorship fallout. If true, that would mean the Bayou Barbie's controversies weren't just costing her endorsements, they might cost her the jersey she wears. The rumor detonated across social media. Fans flooded comment sections with speculation. No way, they trade their biggest star already. While others fired back, if she's bad for business, they'll ship her tomorrow. Hashtags like #ReeseTradeWatch and #BuyBuyBuyBuyU Barbie started trending, feeding the frenzy. For a player who had once been marketed as the future of the franchise, this was an unthinkable twist. Her team might be the first to abandon her. But the cliffhanger didn't stop there. Multiple insiders hinted that at least one of Reese's biggest corporate partners had already prepared exit clauses in her contract, waiting only for the next viral meltdown to pull the plug. Imagine that: a single bad moment on the court or a profanity-laced tweet could instantly wipe away millions. And with Reese's temper, it isn't a question of ifs, a question of when. Even Stephen A himself poured gasoline on the fire. On his podcast, days after the initial rant, he dropped a cryptic line: "Word in the industry is, folks are done waiting on Angel Reese to grow up. They're making plans without her." He didn't specify who folks were, but the implication was clear: sponsors, executives, maybe even teammates were already preparing for a future where Angel Reese was no longer part of the picture. For fans, this raises the ultimate question: is Angel Reese on the verge of becoming the fastest rise and fall story in WNBA history? One season ago, she was the Bayou Barbie, a cultural phenomenon with millions in endorsements. Today, she's staring down a possible trade, shrinking sponsor lists, and the most powerful commentator in sports media branding her as a liability. The final twist is brutal but unavoidable. If Angel Reese doesn't find a way to reinvent herself fast, she may not just lose endorsements, she may lose her team, her platform, and the very legacy she dreamed of building. The next move she makes, whether it's on the court, in front of cameras, or on social media, could decide everything. And here's the cliffhanger. Insiders say a major decision about her future could drop any day now. Will Reese silence her critics and claw her way back, or will Stephen A. Smith's warning prove prophetic, marking the end of the Bayou Barbie era before it truly began? This story is far from over. Angel Reese's future in the WNBA, and with the Chicago Sky now, hangs in the balance. Sponsorship deals are slipping, trade rumors are heating up, and even the most powerful voice in sports media has turned against her. But the real question is, can she flip the script before it's too late? Or are we watching the downfall of the league's biggest stars in real time? We want to hear from you. Do you think Stephen A. Smith went too far? Or did he simply say what everyone else was already thinking? Should Angel Reese fight back and prove her critics wrong? Or does she need to take a step back, regroup, and rebuild her image before it all collapses? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is only getting started. And if you want to stay locked in as this saga unfolds, every leak, every reaction, every twist, make sure you smash that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join us for the next update. Trust me, the Angel Reese drama is only getting bigger, and you won't want to miss what happens next.